Good morning again, everybody. It's Michael here with your supply and demand market report looking at the cryptocurrency complex. I hope you've all been well. Thank you to all of you who've been in touch and some of you have signed up to the one-to-one mentoring and the roundtable. I appreciate that. And to those of you who've also watched and shared the videos and the new subscriptions to the channel, thank you very much. So we're going to be looking at the cryptocurrency market today, and I hope you find value in it. If you do, please don't forget to like the videos, and if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. All right, taking off from where we left off the last time we were together, we've had a bit of a non-week. We tried to break down to new lows, but the buyers came in on Tuesday and bought it back up after the Monday sell-off, and they've just held very tightly for several days, and not much has happened. So as we're looking at it, as we've said, we're still flagging coming off of that supply in a very slow, labored kind of way. We're preferring for the markets to come down into this area ultimately, rather than trying to buy here in the middle. But we're not there yet, so Bitcoin is still a watch for us. There's nothing to do right now. We are testing the breakout highs. As you see, we broke out above that, just above 25k, so that's where we're navigating right now. We're just above 25k, that 25k level, which will be a significant psychological level. And I think there are people who are trying to use it as that, especially given the action we saw in the last week. The bears still have control for now, and the people who are taking profit following this big move that we had in March going into April. Okay, so it's a watch. Nothing much has changed in the last week. Ethereum had a rougher week. Ethereum definitely had a rougher week. This is an example of where an immediate return did work. As I mentioned in the video about that, you will find instances that they work, but whether you can build a full trading business around those types of opportunities is what I try to point out is probably not the case. But this one definitely worked, and now we have a new level of supply that's being created on the daily chart. We are still navigating a demand zone, which is in the blue circle on the weekly. That will be on the chart to your left. We haven't moved out of that demand yet. Well, we'll see. So which makes it a little bit tricky. As I said last time, that fight is now going on because even on the weekly, as we said, it was an immediate return to the level, and we're now stuck in that fight. We have supply zones holding, and you're beginning to show weakness, which is suggesting that we might want to come down and test the lows of that weekly demand zone. If we start breaking it, then that will be much better for this type of supply zone to work. For now, it's not something that I would put my full position size in. If I was trading for shorter income, a shorter horizon, like a daily period, yes, it might be one area, for example, to consider. In fact, it would be an area to consider if you're using the weekly as your big picture like I do. It's not yet. All right, I think Litecoin is the one that had the biggest move of the week, at least of the cryptos we follow in here. As you can see, traded right through any sort of demand zones, which is not surprising at all. We didn't have the move to go to new highs, which would have made a pullback to this level much more interesting. What we're having is this weekly level beginning to exert itself as the weekly supply zone of note. We've gone back into that area again, and that's when we had the sell-off to new lows as prices went below that low there. Let me make that more accurate. So it went below the low there. So we do now have a supply zone created up here. We are overall in a range, but this supply zone is closer to the top of the range, so it is one to keep note of going forward in Litecoin. And looking at DLC for no BS, so we wanted to look at this on intraday time frames because it's so young in its history. So looking at it on the 4-hour, do I have that on log? It is. So it's still so thinly traded. I wouldn't encourage anyone to trade this unless you're an investor in it and you believe in it and you understand it. It's not yet a liquid enough, tradable commodity. It's still all over the place, quite volatile, and it can be a widow maker if you're not careful. So I think I'm going to take it off the list that we will look at. If you have any ideas for any more liquid cryptocurrencies you wanted us to review in the videos, just leave a comment in the chat or email me at storehouseanalytics@gmail.com. And with that, I will say a very big thank you to all of you for watching the video. I appreciate it, and I'll see you all again next week. Thanks, everybody.